3, 2, 1. Rolling.
So something that's happened over Christmas, which probably not a lot of people know about, or unless you're on Facebook, then everybody will know about it, is that Al, our drummer, has had a baby. And, well, he hasn't. His wife, Chloe, has. And we're so pleased for them both. We really are. And I believe they've named the child Philip Walker Harry Vanfield.
Phil,
Yeah.
you're going to correct yourself there.
Oh, sorry, it's just Philip Walker Vanfield. No, they've had a little boy named Harry, and all those guys in the guitar show, and I'm sure all the people that follow the show out there, like to wish them all the best. And I was so made up for you guys, Al and Chloe. Really, really pleased for you guys. And here's to the next 21 years of having no money.
You're listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast.
We're live. Oh, dearie me! Yeah, Happy New Year too, everybody. We've had a few technical issues getting online today. Well, when I say we, I mean I've had a few technical issues. I'm now at the point of I'm just going to send a pigeon over to you guys. I think that might be easier with a little note attached to it.
We seem to have a recurring theme of technical difficulties, don't we?
Life is one technical difficulty. Oh dear. Anyway, are you there, Chris? Hello.
Sorry. Hello.
Yeah, you're right. He
what was
sat on
that?
something. What has he sat on there? We know Lee's there, and well, this week we've got a special guest on. Oh
have.
yes, and they don't come any more special than this guest, and I have to say that because she's sat next to me and I live with her.
Do we need a drum
Yes.
roll? Do we need a drum roll?
The drum
Do a
roll
drum
last
roll.
week was just so fantastic that we need to do it again.
Oh, do you know what? This mic stand hasn't got a boom on it. 1 minute.
All right, I'll sort of join in. So maybe you can do bottom snare and I'll do top.
Well, I'll just play
Ready?
a little bit louder. 1 minute. I was moving the wine glass just from the edge of the table there. There we go.
Oh, it's a big build-up. It better not be Cookie the dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please say hello for the first time on this Guitar Heroes podcast, the Queen.
Hello.
It's none other but my my life and business partner, Miss Jaime Lovett. Hello, Jay.
Hello, everybody. I'm here.
The
here.
brains
Hello.
of the operation has finally shown up.
Yes.
Here to bring some order to this
Thank you, Lou.
nonsense.
For everybody out there who doesn't know who Jay is, Jay. Well, we did a little bit of of who she is last week, but Jay, she's my business partner. And well, we've actually been a couple as well for around 21 years now.
Yeah, it's been a long.
You can hear it, Jay. Yeah. You can really hear it then, Jay. You can really hear it.
Oh no.
Oh, there's so
No.
much to get into tonight.
Oh, this is
going
gonna
to
be
Anyway,
brilliant.
thanks for listening, everybody, and good night.
So,
Oh.
Phil, you will remember that whenever Jay comes to a show, Phil's always on edge because he knows at any moment some sort of hideous secret that's going to just bring his reputation crashing down in front of all of us could be
I've been
revealed.
told,
so-
Lee. I've been
They've
told
had a-
not to
I
say
bet they've
anything
had a
this
prep
evening.
talk.
Oh, okay. He's warned you, has he?
Yeah.
to be quite honestly, I don't need anybody to bring my reputation down. I can do that all by myself.
I have to be careful on there, apparently.
Yeah, just
So,
careful what you say. Yeah.
How you doing, Jay? Welcome to the podcast, and thanks for
Aw.
joining us.
Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be on here. Normally I'm listening in and it's brilliant. You guys make me laugh. Actually, I've got to say, I think you're all a bit like Top Gear.
Okay.
So I reckon you, Lee, are like Hammond. And I think
Oh,
Chris
okay.
is a bit like May, and then you've got Phillips Clarkson.
Preposterous.
The dodgy one, yeah. The one who says everything in the wrong order.
Well, you mean the fat bald one
No, you do it really well. It's great. I really enjoy it.
from
Yeah.
Yorkshire? Hi.
Yeah.
It's quite weird to be on here myself this time. It's got nice.
Well, it's a pleasure to
Yeah.
have you, and you've instantly brightened up the place because it's normally quite a dingy affair.
Is
Us
it?
three either crawling on to Zoom at 10 a.m. in the morning, or crawling on to Zoom at 9 o'clock at night, having had
Or
a number
Chris,
of drinks.
Chris hasn't got his trousers on quite often, apparently. Have you got them on this
No.
evening? Or
You can never tell the
Of
way
course
he
I
angles
have.
his
Of
camera.
course.
Wait, don't zoom
Oh,
down.
oh, don't zoom in here,
We do
don't-
not
yeah.
need to see that, Chris. Do not pan down.
And
Do
that,
not
ladies
pan
and
down.
gentlemen, is why we don't video this podcast. It means we'd have to get dressed.
Yeah, you
We're
have to
quite-
come and see a live show to see that.
Oh,
we're
blimey.
quite relaxed here, Phil, aren't we?
What are you
There's-
drinking? What are you drinking?
What are you guys drinking?
Well, Phil's got his normal port,
Yeah.
and I've got a
He's
cherry
got a bottle.
brandy.
He ain't even got a glass today. He's got
I've
the
got a-
bottle, isn't he?
I've got a bottle with me today because
Yeah.
Jay's here. It's going to be, I know what it's going to be like. It's just going to be me
Aw.
cringing into my bottle of port.
It'll be all right, Phil. Stop worrying. It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll just tell them what they want to know, really. I'll just
Brilliant.
if you ask any
Perfect.
questions, Lee, I'll be there.
Perfect. So you've
Right.
got a cherry brandy. Chris, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking some Malbec. Malbec.
Oh, lovely.
Malbec.
What's that?
Oh,
It's a form of red wine.
sophistication. That's what that is.
It is. It's quite strong, actually. It's nice. Got a good kick to it.
Well, I
Have
did
we
have
all
a
got
nice glass
alcohol?
of. Yeah, that's how we do it. That's how
That's
we
the
roll.
great thing about an evening podcast, isn't it? We can't
We
really do
need
this.
it,
I mean,
Jay.
God.
We need it. I did have a
Just
nice glass of Cabernet Sauvignon, but that seems to have disappeared during the technical difficulties. So we're off to a flying start here.
Uh-oh.
Well, I'm on my second bottle of port thanks to the internet connection.
it's a recurring theme. Every time we do this podcast, you're always on your second bottle of port or your second glass.
Yeah, whether it be 8 at night or 10 in the morning.
I was going to say, if it's
So
10 in the morning,
consistent.
he's got a curry arriving at 11 because you always hear the doorbell go.
Yeah, exactly.
And
No,
he's got
I'm
Timaria in
clean
his
living
coffee.
now. No, I'm clean living on a morning. Don't do Timaria in my coffee anymore on a morning.
No.
I just have a nice options hot chocolate now.
We're
and
trying to be good at the moment, aren't we?
exercises, aren't we? Doing
Yeah.
exercises and
Is this a New Year's resolution? Is it?
Yeah.
well, kind of. We just thought
Instead of being roly polies, we'll try.
yeah. We had a bit of a lockdown was you know when people like right we need to get fit on lockdown. We just went we need to get fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. And so we did.
So
We went for it.
luckily there's no guitar shows until God knows when, because that gives me time to lose about 5 stone. I
We're
think.
going to need quite a while.
So easily done at the moment, though, isn't it? It's just Groundhog Day. It's really getting to that stage again where it's just like, whoa, what day is it? I only know it's Tuesday today because we're doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, it is Tuesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
not Wednesday.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
very strange, very strange. So yeah, what I thought we would do, as we've got Jay with us, I think it would be just great to hear Jay's perspective, because people that listen to this podcast have heard plenty about our perspective of the industry and life on the road and life in the show. But it'd be great to get your perspective on things, Jay. As I've
Yeah.
said, you're largely the brains of the operation. But also, as I alluded to last week, I want your perspective on life with Phil Walker.
Oh. Now have you got a long enough podcast for this? Phil.
But maybe to start off, Jay, you could give us and the listeners a bit of background about yourself, because not only are you the wheels behind the scene on the show, but also a musician, and you haven't just fallen into this, have you? You've been a performer. You are a performer and a singer. So
Yeah, many years, I suppose. Yeah, I used to do that for a living. Gosh, gotta be 16, 17 years on the road, and really enjoyed it and everything. And I did all sorts of things all across Europe, and mostly singing, a little bit of playing piano, and yeah, really enjoyed it. But it got to the point where I just needed to go home and just have some dogs and cats and just chill out a bit and stop living out of a suitcase just for a while. And it ended up never really going back. But in that time, I started marketing for a different theatre show, and it became really interesting, actually, just to find out the other side of the industry. And the more I did it, the more I learned, and it was just like another creative angle to this industry, which actually is just as amazing as being on stage in a way, because you do have to think on your feet.
yeah.
And after sort of, I don't know, it was a couple of years, we decided to put this show together, didn't we? And then I obviously marketing this one and doing all of the rest of it, the admin. Excuse me, that was me. And
I tuned the guitars and Jay did the rest.
Oh, no. No. To be fair, we work really well together, me and Phil. We've been on the road together all the time that I was pretty much going around.
Well, we met when I was 24. You were 22.
That was going to be my next question. So
Yeah. So
and you met through music, obviously. You met.
Yeah, we split two bands up getting together. We were on a holiday park, weren't we? Doing a summer season up in North Wales in Prestatyn, and
very romantic.
I could speak a bit of Welsh, you know.
Oh no,
I can't. No, I can.
Here we go.
I know the Welsh for virgin. Yeah, lie back and Prestatyn.
Oh, that was poor. Sorry.
Apologies, Wales. Apologies.
I love Wales. So we went up there separately. You were with one band in one room. It was a really good atmosphere at the time because the holiday parks now are kind of frowned upon a little bit, and they've gone a little bit more hidey-high as time's gone on, I think, of holiday parks, and they're not quite as well regarded anymore. But back sort of 20 odd years ago, they were thriving, and if you got a gig on a holiday park, you were doing bloody well. You know, you were like, you've got a season for Haven. Oh man, you know, and people were desperate to get those sorts of gigs that paid well. They were great, you know. In
Prestatyn, there was 3 rooms with 3 different bands in there, wasn't there? So
on 6 nights a week, there were bands on 7 nights a week. Actually, you got one night off, didn't you? Yeah. But you know, there was at least 2 bands on. Every night of the week.
And then there was all the cabarets and all the other bands that would come in.
Yeah.
As well as it was really good.
And you used to get some really good visiting bands as well. You get, I don't know if you've heard of Lorraine Crosby, but she was the original singer that sang with Meatloaf on Anything for Love. And she used to bring her band in and play on Wednesdays. And what. So, it was a really thriving place. But anyway, we've digressed a bit.
That's all right. That's what we do here.
Yeah, we're good at that. So I was in one room, you was in another room, and we kind of got together. And when the season finished, we both left those bands and just did our own thing then, didn't we? Yeah.
Went off, did a bit of duo, and then ended up in bands, and the rest is history, really, isn't it? With us two, we were just always together, which, you know, as a couple, it's quite
murder. Oh no, sorry.
It's hard. It is hard because you end up being more like work colleagues in a way. Excuse me. Than you do, you know, as a relationship. So you have to kind of break the two up and be 2 different people at 2 different times, don't you? Which
we got really good at.
Yeah.
To be honest, we did. Yeah. We got really good at that. We had a stage moments, didn't we? Yeah. And then we had our everyday living moments, and we got, and that's probably why we can still. A lot of people in lockdown, I've got to be with my wife or husband for 24 hours a day, and I mean, us, it don't really bother us at all. That's just what we used to do anyway. So
yeah, and I think though, I do think though that the break was good. I think we needed it, and then after that, we come back to being actually really good friends as well, don't we? So now if something goes wrong or we're having an argument or something, when that doesn't happen very often, but if it does, you know, then Phil's he still makes me laugh, don't you? So
apparently,
even in the middle of midst of an argument, bless him, he'll still make me laugh.
Put your trousers on.
He's good at that. So no, to be fair, we get on really well, don't we? And we're quite lucky like that. But like all couples,
when you met Phil, were you down here in Weymouth? Because obviously you're not from Weymouth originally. Were you in Weymouth when you guys met?
So I come from Weymouth. Phil came from Leeds,
just
area,
outside
didn't
Leeds.
you? Yeah. So we met in Prestatyn, which is North Wales.
But was Phil already based down here at that point? Or?
No. I stayed up in Bradford with your parents and you, didn't I, for a year?
Yeah, and then we got offered a summer season in West Bay, didn't we?
Oh right.
Oh no, we did another season in North Wales. Sorry, and then we got offered a season in West Bay, and I never left.
No.
Oh, talking of West Bay, tangent here, but I've just watched Broadchurch for the first time.
Oh right, yeah.
And I thought it was great, but I did feel a little bit hard done by with the way they represented Dorset folk.
Oh right.
Everyone had like a Bristol accent. They were all like talking like that. Like
I'm a bit concerned myself actually on this tonight.
I was watching it and I was like, we don't sound like that. They're full on like Vicky Pollard, like that.
See, what it was.
Sorry, tangent. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Oh, okay. So you met in Wales, and then eventually formed a base down here in Weymouth.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was it then when we started with different bands and different shows along the way and
But
stayed together.
you were in a band together, weren't you, for quite a while?
Lots of different
right?
bands, yeah.
Oh,
different
okay.
shows and
yeah.
bands.
I mean, we've done lots of different. We've always made our living out of music, and we, like I say, when we left the North Wales, we did a few things as a duo, didn't we? And then what happened next? We joined Sarah Jory, didn't we?
That's right.
Yeah, we joined, which was great for us because she used to. She's a country pedal. She's a pedal steel player, and she's really quite well known now out in Europe. And we spent a lot of time out in Europe, didn't we? Whether it was driving in vans and buses or flying out there, and it was about 2 years, 2 or 3 years, I think we did with her, and we really wasn't at home. We were. We were
living underneath chairs in trucks and things, weren't we? We were sleeping in all sorts of positions and places.
It was like it got to the point where it was like oh yeah, we've got a one-off in Belgium. Oh, it'd be easier just to drive. Yeah, we'll drive there. Yeah, it was like that. Belgium was local at one point, wasn't it? Yeah. It was like, oh, we're only in Holland. Excellent.
Yeah, a lot of travelling, wasn't it?
I see why you don't mind the mileage then, Phil, when we pop off to the Midlands or.
Well, yeah. It's quite bizarre, is that? Because you get, a lot of people are like. I mean, if I always tend to think after a gig, if it's 3 hours home, it's doable, it's local, it's nice. Yeah. And there's people like, oh God, what? I couldn't travel an hour after a gig. Blimey, that would be, and it's like an hour after a gig to me is like just stepping out the front door and going back again.
Well, that is something that's nice about the theatre work, isn't it? We do generally wrap up at a more pleasant hour than some other gigs. Other gigs, you're sort of rocking out of the venue at like 2 a.m, but the venues that we play finish at a much more decent hour, which is quite nice.
I remember some venues used to do. You'd be going on stage right about the time that we're getting home from a theatre gig.
Yeah.
Actually,
there's a few of those in Weymouth. I remember some of the gigs I've done in Weymouth, and it's like you sat there at 1 o'clock. Is it time to go on yet?
Yeah, there's a pub called the Duke of Cornwall I used to gig at, and I think Trish, the landlady, she used to have a license till like 3 in the morning. So she'd always want you to start around like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it'd be like all the way till 1:30, 2 o'clock, something like that. I probably wouldn't do that anymore.
Well, we're all getting old now, aren't we? Older by the day with this lockdown.
Yeah.
Oh, I stretched today. I stretched my arm because as you do, and
just the one
arm. It's just the way I was sat. I was just like I was leaning on this arm here, and I swear I pulled a muscle. I thought this is ridiculous.
Oh, Chris,
just stretching.
Chris hadn't actually moved from his chair since last week's podcast. He was just sat there waiting for the computer to come back on. Guys.
He's still got his bottle of San Miguel stuffed in his jacket. Look.
That's not my bottle of San Miguel, Phil.
Uh-oh.
Let's put your trousers
Moving on.
So the story Guitar Heroes, is that your first project together? Obviously, you've gigged in bands together, but is this like your first big project?
No, not really. We've, I suppose, as in a project where we could lose the house. Yeah, that's the biggest project we've ever done.
It's the biggest project we've done. We've done other things together. Yeah, most of it's always been off our own back, hasn't it? Throughout all the time we've been together. But this is the major one that we decided one day, look, let's just step out of our comfort zone and do something we know a lot about. It's not like we didn't, but and of course. I suppose because I knew a lot about the marketing side already, and Phil already knew a lot about production and things, so it just sort of naturally came together.
So had you been thinking about putting something like that together? Because obviously we've heard from Phil about the tale of you coming in late at night and watching Guitar Heroes on the BBC, and then thinking, aha. But had you guys already been thinking about doing something like that, or was it after that point that you went, do you know what, we could we could maybe do something here.
It was well. I mean, I guess you could say I'm the dreamer a little bit. I know.
Yeah, you're more sort of creative when it comes to all that side of thing, aren't you? And I'm sort of a bit more business minded. So between us, if Phil come up with some ideas, occasionally I'll be like, it could work, but this, that, and the other, or no, that's just ridiculous,
Yeah.
But it works because I'm sort of probably too realistic sometimes, aren't I? And at least you come up with ideas, and so when this one come along, it was like, actually, do you know what? I think we could roll with this. It just it seemed.
There was, I mean, at the time there was nobody doing a guitar show. Now that could have gone either way because there's no guitar show because nobody would go see a guitar show, or because nobody has thought of it or had the ability to do it. And we just took a chance, didn't we? And
there's nobody else out there doing anything really like that, was it? It was
no.
So we thought, well, there's an opportunity. Actually, first before that, we were thinking of other shows. I think there was like the Shadows come Eva tribute, Eva Cassidy tributes, and all sorts of things we were thinking of prior to that.
Although we're not really tributey people. We don't like the tributey thing. And like I said, I full on respect for anybody that does the tribute. Christ, I've been in so many tribute bands, everything from John Denver to Queen, and I've done loads of tribute bands, or been in them rather. So we've made a lot of mortgage payments through tribute bands as well, So I'm not knocking it, but we just didn't want to do that.
No.
Right. Yeah,
and I think with this, it's just got more longevity. So, you can keep changing all the songs and the artists throughout. The length of how it's however long it's going to go on for, compared to say if we were to do Eva Cassidy or somebody different, then I suppose the public, if you like, will no longer know who that is, and so you're limited. Whereas with this show, it really does. It goes
well, let's
on
face
and
it,
on.
there are no new Elvis songs, are there? So. You've got a catalogue that you can work to. And
exactly. If you're a tribute act and you go to a tribute show, you're expecting to see, you've got to play these hits, you've got to play those songs, and if you don't hear them, you're going to go away disappointed. But that's a nice thing about the Story Guitar Heroes, that people can come every year, and not everything, but there'll be enough of a change. Again, there are things we have to do, but we can change things. We can do things with the theatrics, the lights, the videos. So hopefully it feels like a
and buy more guitars.
Show. And that, yeah. So moving on to that, maybe, Jay. How do you feel about that side of the show? So Phil, I can just imagine it. Phil, the following morning after that gig that Phil came home from. Right, Jay, I've made you a lovely breakfast. It's in the toaster. Get it yourself. And
that's it.
I've got an idea. What it is I'm going to buy loads of guitars and we're going to make a show about it.
Hang on, you've missed a bit. You've got to do all the compliments first and tell me how wonderful I am.
Okay. I thought I was being generous with the fact that he'd put your toast in the toaster.
No.
I didn't realise you were listening at that point, to be honest.
He's really good at this salesman thing, when he wants he wants some guitars.
I'm not too good at compliments. Yeah. I go, oh, you smell nice today. Have you been jogging?
Yeah, so Jay, I've got this great idea, right? We're going to do a guitar show. Yeah. It's going to be maybe 30 or 40 different guitar heroes. Of course, we're going to need a different guitar for every hero.
Well, it didn't start out like that, to be fair. I think... at the time I had my white Strat, I had a red Strat, I had the Fiesta Red Precision bass that we use, I had a PRS which I used to hold a door open with, I had my leather Telecaster and an acoustic, and I think that was it, wasn't it? So we were like, okay, so we can do Keith Richards, we can do the Shadows and Jimi Hendrix. Yeah, not much of a guitar show. We need a lot more going on than that, don't we? So, we
quite an investment getting the show going, isn't it? Stuff that you need and getting off the ground. Obviously, I wouldn't even know where to start. Something like that, just off the straight out of the gate, seems very overwhelming to me. Not even we've had a lot of experience. I mean, bearing in mind that me and Jay, prior to the guitar show, have probably had 10 years experience in theatres anyway.
and me sort of more front of house on stage, and then you behind the scenes doing the business side of it. So we didn't go into it blind. And I think anybody that does go into it just because they want to do a theatre show one day, I think you probably need your head reading, because it's not a good thing. It's like, I think I'm going to start a haulage company today. What do you know about that? Nothing.
I've driven a van.
I once drove a van. Yeah.
But we do see that, don't we? We do see, you can kind of spot those shows, I think, and I know that you've pointed them out to me a couple of times, Phil. Yeah. Like they've gone too big too soon.
Yeah.
And I guess that's a danger with any business, isn't it? You just jump into it and go, yeah, let's do this. And you've always said about this show that it's worked because you've grown it bit by bit, and 6 or 7 years in now, each year's a gradual change, isn't it? A gradual improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we could have, got a bigger lighting rig. We could have had more road crew. We could have had a bigger truck. We could have had a bigger PA. But there's a show years and years ago. They used to do clubs and what have you, and were quite successful. Then they decided to go down the tribute route when it was still quite new doing the tribute thing. And they had a decent PA, and they got a few theatre gigs in and decided, we've got theatre gigs, we need to uprate the PA, and spent something like 25 grand on an Electro Voice rig, which back 25 years ago was 25 years ago, maybe more, was a horrendous amount of money to spend on a PA. And I think they lasted 6 months and went bankrupt. So
easily done.
It's very tempting because you know what you want to see.
Yeah.
So you think, right, I'll just add these lights, and I'll just add, and before you know it, you've spent thousands of pounds, and you're not going to get that back within that year that you spent them. So it's a dangerous move, and you've got to be so careful.
I would say now, although I'm a big guitar nerd, as everybody knows, and I love guitars. But if somebody said to me, okay, I'm going to give you 2 grand, you can do what you want with it, I would probably give it to Jay and say, right, let's put it into marketing, because that's where it's going to be more beneficial.
Right,
yeah. This side of it is amazing. There's so much to learn. Even now, I think I've been doing it probably, 8-10 years or something, and I'm still learning, like we all do with every business. But I think, there's so much to learn, and we've got a new promoter now, and still again I'm learning masses from them. You can just keep growing and growing, and the more I realize, the more that you put into marketing, the more you get back from it, because obviously if people don't know you exist, they're not going to come and see the show, however good it might be. You've got to get those people in the first place. So
very true,
we've done before COVID hit, between January and March was our best sales-wise, was our best period yet in 2020. Which was so good when everything got cancelled. But we were doing so well, but it hadn't always been like that. We'd had a good 2 to 4 years of really struggling, and some years we'd be. In fact, it was. I must have been probably second year into the show. Me and Jay were sat there absolutely heartbroken because this thing wasn't working. We didn't have enough money to put into marketing. We'd put tens of thousands into this show, hadn't we? And we just something was wrong. We couldn't figure it out, and we just said, do you know what? Let's just run this year's gigs out and call it a day, because our stress levels can't do this. And as it must have been 10 minutes after saying that, the phone rang, and it was a different promoter on the phone that said, "Oh yeah, I've got these I've heard about you, blah blah blah. I could put you there, and there, and we'll put you on a guarantee for this, that, and the other." And we just went, "Well, obviously somebody wants to keep us going at this, So if that phone hadn't rung, we'd have probably packed it in, wouldn't we?"
Yeah, I think there's 2 major things that happen. One of them would be that one of them is really important, is the poster, the artwork, the branding is absolutely essential that you get that right. And that's been a massive learning curve. And also to think big. So, not spend big, but think big. So, turn around one day to yourself like we did, and we were on the floor thinking, oh God, we spent all this money and we're not getting anywhere, and blah, blah, blah. And then I I think, right, I'm going to go upstairs and I'm going to think of something that really is beyond what I'd probably normally do. And so I thought, right, I don't know, and we thought of things, didn't we? And I come up with ringing up Birmingham Guitar Show.
Yeah.
And I just rung them out of the blue. It's always best to ring, ring up, no emails, just ring them and say, look, we've got this great show. Are you interested in putting it in? Blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, through that, we met the people from Yamaha and Line 6 and everything. And then that grew, and it helped us to grow the show in return, didn't it? So it's like, you've always got to think big, I think. But as long as it doesn't cost you too much. Just get on that phone. Yeah.
There's a quote that I can't remember, but it's something to do with, if you think big, we all know that we'll probably fall slightly short of what we think. So, think big, and then you'll fall just short of that, and that might be somewhere that you want to fall. If you think in terms of, I just want to be here, then you're probably going to fall short of that. So actually, you'll do less than what you intend. But I guess like anything, any market that you might be in, the way of doing things in the theatre world, is you share a lot of similarities with, say, other bands, but there are also things that are very specific. I guess over the years, Jay, you've spent a lot of time in that market, so you know how to do things. It's not marketing is important for any band and any musician and anything, and I think we've said before that it's something that we're all bound to struggle with, because we tend to just focus primarily on whatever we are, a guitar player, a singer, and that's where our sort of passion lies. But so much of it lies in the marketing, and you do see a lot of really good acts and bands struggle because they can't get that other side of it down.
Yep.
But I guess there must be sort of tips and tricks and ways of approaching the theatre market that are similar but subtly different to, say, a wedding band or an original band, or
Yeah, marketing for a theatre show is huge. So it's a full-time job. I've employed other people. It's mass. Whereas, say, like a function band, for example, you've got to get all the your branding right. You've got to be a good product in the first place, and you've just got to keep ringing around and getting a good agent, basically, and then they promote you from there. Whereas with theatres, it's mass, so you have to keep on to the venues. You have to deal with lots of. So, for example, they'll give you a list of prices for things that they can offer, like poster sites and all sorts of things, radio, and you have to go through their list, and you have to choose what you want, and you come up with a deal, what you pay and what you won't pay, and everything, and that goes for each venue, along with radio interviews and magazine adverts, and if you can, you get a feature for free. And so that's just a very small part of it. Then there's the print and the posters and the overprint and it's mass, absolute mass.
From what I've seen, it's very, very reliant on obviously the work that you do, but also the relationship you have with the individual venues, because there is, maybe more so than other areas of music, there's a real onus on the marketing at the venue and how good they are, and how good their sort of captive audience is. What are they going to be like? Are they going to be on it?
There's
or
a
is
lot
it going
of
to be
analysis
entirely
goes on. Yeah,
is it going to be entirely down to you to market a gig that's happening 500 miles away, or have they got a great team in-house that are going to be really good, a really good following of local theatre goers?
Usually it depends on whether you're hiring the venue or you're sharing a split with them. So if you're sharing the money with them, they're going to help you more.
But having said that, we've been to venues. We've been to venues where there've been a great marketing department and everything's been great and you've done well. You go back a second time, the marketing manager's changed at the venue, and you don't do half as well. So a lot of it, as good as the theatre, as good as the area might be, great venue. If the marketing guy leaves, who's really on it, and someone comes in who's not quite as on the ball, your sales are affected massively.
You've got to keep on at the venues all the time and make sure that they're doing everything, like your Facebooks and all the social media, everything. It's kind of a nagging process that you have to go through, and you go down the list and go, and I nag these today. And it's a lot of work.
Somewhere on that list there's Phil, because he's left his dirty underpants in the hallway.
And then the dog goes and needs a wee or something.
Like
Phil, I
glad
run
you
this
said
show.
the
The
dog
least
and
you
not
could do
me.
is pick up your underwear. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
You don't even do that. He throws it at me in the morning, don't you?
Well, you're in the way of the laundry
Well.
basket.
Yeah, I am actually.
And as
I'm
you
sat
coming
on the-
downstairs trying to get through the herd of floating pics and all sorts, and just
To be fair, she says every morning it only happens once a fortnight because I've only got like 2 underpants.
True, yeah.
No,
You could do with some more, couldn't
You're listening to the Guitar Heroes podcast.
So Jay, obviously, besides what you do for marketing the show and generally potty training Phil around the house, I guess what's nice about having you on board as well is that being a musician and having a background in the performance side of it as well. I imagine there's probably a lot of people that are in your part of the industry that you meet or have to talk to that aren't necessarily performers. They've just gone straight into the marketing side of things and the business side of things.
Yeah, I think it helps to have that.
Yeah, do you think you probably have a slightly different perspective to some of those people?
Yeah, some people are a lot more, I suppose, business minded because that's what they're used to. So somebody like myself has got that background knowledge, and most often than not, most musicians aren't really into that type of part of the industry with the business side of it. So I don't know why, but I seem to quite enjoy it actually. So that's okay. But I don't know. There's a lot of people that their backgrounds are music orientated, aren't there? There's quite a few that are, so they've done the same as me. So
It's one of
it's a
those
bit of both.
industries, isn't it? That it's a bit like that. People seem to sort of be involved somewhere. I guess maybe you can't be in it unless you're somehow involved in playing or singing. I don't know. Maybe it'd just drive you crazy if you weren't.
Yeah.
So on top of the business side of things, your experience as a performer feeds into the creative side of the show as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, which is also enjoyable.
Technical side of it.
Yeah, so that's a really good part that I enjoy actually. I suppose going to see the show and just picking up points and thinking, this could be better, or this is already the clipboard that I bring.
Chris has yet to see this. Chris, you usually find Jay walking around on a show with a clipboard, and she sits at the back of the room near the sound desk with a clipboard making notes, and you can always see in the interval if she's used like 3 or 4 A4 sheets of paper, you're in for an arse kicking in the interval or something.
Run, just run.
there'll be me in the tech rehearsals. I'll be fronting a song or something, and Jay would just be out there sat there nodding her head, going, "Oh, this is all over the place, isn't it?"
No, she don't give it. She don't give anything away. No, she won't give anything away. She'll just sit there with a clipboard, which is worse. I mean, she
won't
probably
blink. She won't blink either. She'll just be.
No, exactly. Sometimes I look over at it and I go, "That's a really nice picture of a house you've just drawn," and the band's there on stage shitting themselves. What's she writing?
The thing is, it's really difficult because on the night, you're doing your best to make the best out of, you're enjoying yourselves, you're doing what you do, you're concentrating, and there's no way I'd want to come in and just say, look, you've done this, and this, and it's, I don't want to pick at that point. So I come back and then I reevaluate what I've written and then speak to Phil, and then we go through.
I get it all first.
And then Phil will go back and say, perhaps we could do it more like this to you guys. So it's not, I try not to make it too, it's just very nitpicky. And actually it's got a lot easier the longer it's been going on because you guys are just immensely talented anyway. So that's been easier for me. So I haven't got as many A4s because you're already naturally good at it,
I think it's a good thing to do because as musicians, we generally aren't very self-assessive, I suppose is the word. Like, I record a lot of the time anyway, so I try and keep an eye on my playing in that way. But in regards to performing, obviously, we don't often have video cameras set up, videoing every show, and, we can't be critical on ourselves as much, and having you out there, making notes and things is really important just for our benefit in our development as musicians and for the show in general. So I think it's great that you do that, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, it is hard when you're a performer, and we all know that when you're up there in the moment, what you perceive as the gig isn't necessarily what other people are perceiving.
No, I've always told that when
you're having on stage is very different to the experience that someone out there is having. So having that feedback, like you say, Chris, whether it be a recording or even better, someone like you, Jay, to just kind of not necessarily a negative, actually say I really liked it, because we equally miss moments like that we would brush off and not even realise, and you say, oh, tonight when you did that was really good, we need to do more of that. And so it is helpful, very helpful.
Well, again, I don't have to do it half as much as I used to now. I think mostly I'm quite fussy with sound and things like that, and probably get on the sound guy's nerves.
Phil, isn't it? Mainly Phil, you forgot to come on with your trousers on.
You've done it again.
The fly was open.
Well, again,
now that I'm joining the show, you might want to refill that pad. So.
No, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm really looking forward to your going back. I can't wait because with you, Chris, it should be great as well. I miss it a lot. I miss being out the front, and it's nice to be able to sit out the front. I know you guys don't see yourselves, as I do, and it's great to see this side of it. From my point of view, I've never had that when I used to be on stage, so this side of it's so interesting. You get to hear what people say and what they think, and you feel the atmosphere more, and that side of it's just I'm so proud. I really am. Guys are really great. So.
Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time on stage listening to what everybody else was doing. I never actually used to concentrate that much on what I was doing. A lot of people's, they get their in-ear monitor mix and it's tailored to them, and my in-ear monitor mix is tailored to everybody else because I want to hear what everybody else is doing. I know what I'm doing, but I need to hear what everybody else is doing. I don't think that's ever going to go. I don't think that's ever going to go. When you've put your house on the line for a show like this, you kind of you're never going to let go of it. You're never just going to go right, and
Yeah, I can assure you it's a great show. Anyway, obviously, because I was very fortunate at the start of last year. Now, isn't it? Yeah, I was. I was in the wings. I was there, giving lead guitars, changing straps for him.
It was great for a few months.
Yeah, and then obviously there was a couple of occasions I got to go out to the front and for the whole show, and towards the end as well. I think when I handed I think maybe Toby his last guitar for the last song, I went out front just to see everyone kind of in the last few songs generally get out of their seat, and just to feel the buzz in the room was amazing. There's just something great about the show, and even when you kick it off, Phil, as well, just watching you with the just moving around to the different, areas of the stage with the guitar and really giving it some. I was like, man, this is great. And I can assure you it's an awesome show. And you guys should be really proud of yourselves. I think it's an incredible achievement. And obviously there's so much room for progression with it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Chris. I do my best.
I don't know how you control those fingers, Lee. How long are they? 18 inches each or something?
Very long, very long. I was going to say, Chris, have we got a Chris's Corner this week? Because I felt like we almost rolled into it then. You had the three of us.
Oh, do you know what? I actually do have a Chris's Corner.
You do?
I do.
Right,
actually,
well, Jay,
Jay should
know
do it.
all about Chris's Corner.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Jay, do you want to cue the music, Jay?
How do I cue it? I've forgotten what you say. Hang on.
Cue the music.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, Jay.
Typical. Do you never bring your wife to work? Yeah.
I do listen to you, honest.
Okay. Right.
Right, ready? Cue the music.
Chris's Corner. That was great.
That was nice, yeah. Had a bit of a crescendo to it.
Yeah. So obviously, following the last podcast we did, obviously we spoke about vinyls, and after that, I couldn't help but go straight to all my vinyls, where I grabbed loads out, started listening, and obviously you get, for me anyway, with vinyls, I get that such a nostalgic feeling with all the music I listen to, and I was thinking to myself, and I can't answer it yet because I don't know, but I was going to just throw the question to you guys. But in 30 years' time, what do you guys think you'll be nostalgic over?
My underpants.
Because they would have been long gone.
But I thought it's quite an interesting...
By that point, it'll be back in nappies. Be longing for the days. Or he had control of his bowel movements.
30 years from now, I'll be long gone, mate.
I think I'll still be a carer at this point. Phil's carer, as always.
Obviously, you're going to still be nostalgic over the things you're nostalgic over now.
Yeah,
but obviously, there might be something new. But I can't think of anything at present because obviously it's hard to tell what that's going to be.
Is nostalgia just related to when you were like young, or is that just something that as you grow older you continuously gain more nostalgia that's sort of trailing 10 or 15 years behind you? I think
it depends on the event, I think.
And I suppose is it based on something that you're really enjoying now, or you have done maybe last year that you think, I'm going to remember this in years to come, and you'll probably get a moment where you're having a coffee and you're like, oh, I remember this, or listening to a piece of music.
One thing I always get nostalgic about is my my number one Strat, because that's been through so much with me, and there are certain things that happen when I'm playing that guitar, or times of the year. For example, Christmas, which is when I first got the guitar, when my mum and dad got me for Christmas. So every Christmas, I get a little bit of nostalgic about that, because I've got that guitar and I've had it since I was 11, and I've started remembering Christmases with it.
You put tinsel on it?
And I put tinsel on it, yeah, definitely. I don't put tinsel on it.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that, no.
I think nostalgia is that, though, isn't it? It's a memory, so we associate nostalgia with music because music's so good at evoking a memory, isn't it? It takes you back to a place. So I guess nostalgia in the future will be whatever significant moments we're living through. And so for all of us, there's probably been quite a few significant moments over the last year. In a weird way, we might find that we become nostalgic for some of the nice things that we did in lockdown. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've certainly listened to some music and done a few things that have become almost like regular life that I'm sure will not be able to remain regular life when we go back.
Like not being dressed for days on end.
Well, yeah, like coming on podcasts, and I won't stand up too far, but sitting here in my underpants. You know what I mean? I keep thinking that as we feel like, as we look forward to all of this coming to an end, hopefully, I'm sure there will be aspects of it that in a year's time you go, do you know what, that part of that wasn't that bad, whether it be spending time with family or just being free of a few pressures that we might otherwise be bogged down with. I don't know.
I think it's been really nice in some ways, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, we have had the time to just relax and look at life a little bit differently, haven't we?
Things have changed for us for the better because of lockdown, definitely, haven't they? In regards to the show.
You guys needed a break, didn't you? You said, and hopefully you'll go back with maybe not a better energy, but something that's different, and I've probably had time to catch on with things, so maybe you'll be a bit more relaxed or something. I don't know.
It's a bit of a cliche, but fresh, I think, is probably the right word. We, both of us were at the tipping point, I think, weren't we? Before, towards March, with one thing or another. We've had a lot of legal problems going on in the show as well. So that whole, when the industry stopped, for a lot of people was devastating. For us, it was needed, wasn't it?
The first couple of months were really, really lovely, weren't they? We kind of just, we needed it so badly. And I think after that, it became, okay, well, we'll start doing some useful things with our time, and then after that, it's like, hang on a minute, now I think I'd like to go back, please.
Yeah. So, Phil, get dressed. It's been 6 months.
Unlike other areas with gigs, obviously, like, as opposed to like, being in a wedding band, which I've done loads of, obviously there's a different pressure with theatre shows, and obviously when it gets tough, what do you think it is that makes you want to ride that out and just keep going? Is it your love for theatre shows? Do you guys love what you're doing enough to just,
why are you doing this, Phil?
Because obviously,
Chris, why have you asked that question? I can see Phil contemplating the future of this. Maybe you're out of a job. Chris's corner is cancelled.
I see your guys like when you guys talk about it, like you guys seem to have so much enthusiasm about it, and you always,
it's because he's had a bottle of port.
Now, Chris, I just see myself. Yeah, we just see ourselves growing vegetables in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
No, there is an enjoyment to it. I mean, it's we're proud of it and how it's grown, and the people that are in it were lovely now, and all the aspects of it that are stressful have seem to have sort of gone by the wayside, and you start to see what's good about it all, which is lovely.
From my point of view, because I mean, you guys will know this because everything when we go to rehearsals, everything's in my head. Until we get to a rehearsal, we know what songs they are and things like that, but the vision of the show is all in my head, and we ain't there yet. Where I see the show and what's happening. 5 years from now, we're really not there yet. That's what keeps me going. The fact that
you've got a vision,
striving for that.
Yeah. I've got a vision of where I want the show to be, what I want it to look like, and we're years off that yet.
I think that means more.
You still got a job, Lee.
There's more guitars involved here somewhere.
More guitars. Yeah, I saw Jay's face while you were saying that, Phil. She's thinking, "Oh, Jesus." Here we go.
But to be honest, I think Jay, joking aside, I mean, there's no way I would own, furry guitars and things that you see behind me, like stripy things and Prince guitars. There's no way I would own those guitars because they just don't float my boat. If it weren't for this guitar show, I'd probably have about, I don't know, a handful of guitars that I really loved and really wanted. So to me, the tools, they're not like, the DeWalt and Makita drills to me are a lot of these guitars. They're just something there that makes it work,
And we know you love a DeWalt.
Oh my God! Let's talk about DeWalt stuff instead.
No. Let's not go down that tangent.
Please.
Well, actually, maybe on that note, because I have seen your DeWalt drill, and it's very, very nicely secured to your garage wall, and it's very, very organised.
It is.
So on that note, Jay, maybe we could get some insight, and the listeners could get some insight into life with the man himself behind
You're
the scenes.
dying to know, aren't you, Lee?
We know about the stage, we know about the business, but life with Phil, particularly over the last year, must have been somewhat interesting. But
this is a separate podcast series, isn't it?
Oh no, bless him, he's lovely. He has his moments, don't you feel like we all do, where you're...
No, I'm perfect.
This is what we want to know about, Jay. What are these moments?
You want the juicy details, don't you?
Remember that time you caught me with that donkey?
I've shared a room with him a few times on the road, and he's
different,
shall we say?
He likes things his way, so
he does.
Yeah, he's I call him kind of all or nothing. So he's either really into something, really happy with it, really happy with the person, or not. And there's no in between. It's this like that's what I see him like. It's like
I'm laughing because I know exactly what you mean.
That's how I see Phil. And so immediately I'll know if he likes my meal I've just made or not. There's just no in between with this.
Because it's not up the wall.
Yeah.
What's this shit?
Oh God, and it's so true. Everything we do with you, and the other thing is, if I want to go out for a walk or something like that, I have to sort of make it sound amazing. Otherwise, you just will not want to do it. So,
take him out when there's no one around.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, wish he takes me out for my walk every day. Yeah.
No, see, I'm not selling it to him.
Sounds somewhat like a small child. It's like, I know if he likes the dinner I've made him because he doesn't spit it out. And if he needs to go outside for some fresh air, I have to say, come on, Phil.
Or when we're on the way to the show, it's like, oh, Jay's let me out for the day. This is going to be great.
I don't know.
When he's away on the road, do you miss him, or is it secretly a nice break? Do you look forward
It
to that?
depends how long it's for. I think if it's a long time, after a while, I'm thinking, hang on,
After 6 months, you mean?
Yeah, you can come back now.
No,
I was going to come back, the bins are piling up.
the first few days are heaven. I mean...
I just miss my dog.
Cookie. You have said that.
Is it due for your rant yet, Phil, by the way?
You're doing it for me, I think, yeah.
Have we got one?
I do have a rant, actually, yeah. I think what it is with me is that...
Wait a second. Whoa.
Let Jay cue the music.
Oh, no, this wasn't the rant. The rant. I was just kind of just saying that... Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people sometimes probably find it a little difficult working with me, because I do have to have it a certain way. It has to be a certain way for me, and I'm trying not to sound without sounding sort of arrogant. I really, if it comes across like that, I apologise. I don't mean it to, but the way that I do things works. And has done, and I've had a lot of failures as well. I've had a shitload of failures too. So a lot of it's been trial and error. But if I think something has to be a certain way, and people going, if I've thought about it, and I go, no, it really does have to be that way. And usually I'm quite right.
You have written down everything in detail, haven't you? So if somebody's questioned something, usually you've already thought of it over and over anyway, haven't you? You're kind of very particular about certain things, which is what I'm going back to, like all or nothing. So he's kind of, if he's all, then you'll get all. So with the show, it's all the time. So, and you've got this vision, you know what you want, you know what the sound you want, you know what you want to see, everything about it, even the lights, you do everything just how you want it, don't you? And it's kind of, when you bring other people into the picture, like yourselves as guitarists involved in that, you kind of have to try and get in Phil's vision, which is difficult, And so I think you do an amazing job. Well done, guys.
Just don't be offended when I say, no, that's stupid.
Well, Jay, whenever we make suggestions, Phil, what's the email address that you send us? Go on, tell Jay that one while she's here.
What's that?
There's quite a few. There's quite a few.
Got my phone out here.
There's quite a few. Usually, I find if anybody's got a little issue on the road, something personal, I usually tell them to email HR at phildoesn'tgiveatoss.com. Something like that.
Or Jaime Lovett. Please write to me instead.
But no, I do. I mean, I never stop. My head never stops on not just this show, but I've got another 3 shows written, ready to go. The guitar show is, I think I've got versions of it up to 2023 now.
Wow.
Different thing. Obviously, depending on what happens, like, if somebody big, kicks the bucket like Eddie did, or like BB did, and things like that. We can bang, or we can just slot them in straight away. That type of thing. But I've got about another 3 shows that are written, ready to be put into action. And like I said, the guitar shows. The next version's already done, finished, and ready to go, type thing.
Wow!
So it never stops. I'm up at 7:00 every single morning downstairs with my iPad doing work.
Is that true, Jay?
It is actually. True? To be fair to him,
right.
He's up before me, and he just goes downstairs. I think he enjoys that moment on your own, because you don't really wake me up till.
It's usually me and my dog, me and Cookie. We get a little hot chocolate, and he doesn't. It'd kill him. I won't be good with it. But he has a couple of little biscuits after breakfast, and we both sit in the chair together. I've got my iPad, with my light Apple Pencil and everything, and I'm working.
Yeah. You're on it, aren't you?
I'm on it, every morning.
Right, come on, Phil.
Yeah.
Roll into your rant. Let's do it. I want to hear what you're ranting about this week. So, go on,
okay.
Jay.
Go on, Jay.
Over to you.
Forgotten it again?
Oh, no.
So, Jay,
Q.
repeat after me. It's
Sorry.
Q.
Q.
The
music.
Phil's rant. Do you know what? I feel like that rant now should be about Jay not remembering Cue the music. No, okay. My rant this week. I'm not going to go on too much. My rant this week is about prostitution. Okay.
Okay.
Now I really am.
This is seriously an episode of Top Gear, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've and Jay and probably a lot of people, we've classed ourselves as musical prostitutes. Okay, and lockdown especially. I mean, I'm still really, really lucky that I'm making, still making my way through without having to drive an Amazon van or anything like that. I'm still, I think it's through the contacts that I've built up over the years, and a little bit of advice for anybody out there is always be nice. Don't fall out with people if you can help it, because you just never know when you might need somebody, and I left a show about 2-3 years ago, and I'm actually doing some work with this show again with this guy again, and it's great to just stay in touch with people. But you get a lot of people out there that sort of slate people like me, who has played in a Neil Diamond tribute, a John Denver tribute, a Queen tribute, a Bee Gees, and I've done all sorts of things. I've worked in hotels, and you get a lot of people. I can think of a couple of people that spring to mind that look down on me because I've done that. And I just don't think you should look down on people that... I mean, this is before COVID anything. I used to do all sorts of stuff. I was in 14 different shows one year, and I really was burnt out by Christmas after that year. But, I've done PA hire and all sorts of stuff. And you get a lot of people that do look down on people for doing things. I remember coming out of a hotel once. I was at a seaside place, and it was just weird that I bumped into this bloke that I knew. And he says, "Oh, bloody hell, what are you doing here?" I said, "Oh, I've been working here in this what Shearing's hotel. So what are you doing there?" I said, "Well, I've just been doing a gig. It was a Monday or Tuesday night or something. It was all midweek stuff." And he goes, "Oh God, what, you're playing in there?" And he got a real arsey sort of look down on me attitude for all that type of thing. Anyway, I got into my car, and he goes, "Is that your car?" And I went, Yeah, because I do shitholes like this, I can afford a nice brand new Mercedes. And I drove off and left him to walk to the bus shelter. You know what I mean? And it's like, but people that do look down on that gets my goat. Does that?
It does, doesn't it?
Well, musical snobbery is rife, isn't it? It's everywhere.
Yeah.
Musical snobbery is rife, and it's, as they always say, it's not a competition, but that
No, I
doesn't
think,
seem to be the case.
As a musician, I presume we all share a similarity in that our success for us is just to be able to make a living out of music, and that's always been my goal. Like, I would look at it, if I could get a whole year of just gigs and just playing my guitar and teaching, I would consider that a success, regardless of what that is, as long as it's in that ballpark. No one has the right to look down on you at that, because
exactly
in your mind that's success to me. And obviously you're driving away in a Mercedes, and just proves a massive point, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, not that I'm trying to be arrogant by saying I've got a Mercedes. I'm not trying to be like that. But the point is, I've everything that me and Jay have got, we've worked bloody hard for.
Of course.
You know what I mean? We work so hard, and you guys do. I mean, Chris, you've got you've got a daughter as well, and you've got to juggle family life, you've got to juggle gigging life, and I know how busy you were in the wedding band. You got 28 days in August you were working one year or something. Ridiculous, and you got to juggle life as well, and you get the it's not everybody, obviously, just a handful of people, like your weekend warriors, as you call them, that go and I'm cool, I play AC/DC in a pub once every fortnight. Do you know what I mean? Sort of looking down on people that have,
well, I think
doing probably not what we want to do.
That so-called snobbery seems to thin out as you kind of work up through the ranks, and maybe it's just because those people that don't have that outlook tend to get those gigs because, like you said, they're nice, they communicate well, and they get the call because they were a nice guy or whatever. I've been lucky enough to just meet a lot of professional musicians that are either working on really high end gigs or have a really solid following themselves, and they always come across as, well, the vast majority come across as really nice guys or gals, and you can see why they would be successful because they're remembered for being that. It's a small industry, whether you're at the top or at the bottom, and I think you leave a trail, don't you?
Of course, yeah. And I think what you said, Phil, was like spot on. Is just be a nice guy or gal.
Yeah,
it's so important, because obviously if you're going to be on the road with someone like me joining your show, I'm going to be on the road with you guys a lot, and obviously we got to be able to get on. And if you're one of those guys who's got an opinion about everything negative, you're not going to get the gig, are you? And yeah, all right. When people that travel with me in my van, yeah, it can be a little bit stressful sometimes because things.
Smelly.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been told to buy a really thick jacket, that I could take to Antarctica.
Yeah, I do like the aircon in winter. Yeah, definitely. But no, it's a case of everybody seems to get on. There are stressy times, people that travel with me because, I run the show. I'm always in contact with Jay, and there's never a day goes by without something to sort out, is there? And, unfortunately, I'm on the road and we have to talk. So sometimes, but as a rule, if to be blunt, if you're an arsehole, you're not going to last long in this show because everybody gets on really well. Everybody's, as far as I'm concerned, everybody now in the show's just really cool, and I'm
Yes,
really
we
looking
are.
forward to getting back out.
So, Chris, your days are numbered. And on that note, our Zoom chat's running out because we're too cheap to pay for the premium version of Zoom. So,
Oh no!
so I'm gonna say thank you, Jay, for joining us tonight. And
We need to do the
for,
socials,
My
Lee.
pleasure.
I'm coming to that.
Are you doing
I'm
that?
coming to
Okay,
and
we've got
yeah,
another one.
I
For
just
you.
wanted to say, Jay, thank you for joining us tonight,
Sure.
and I hope it's been enjoyable. Thank you for sharing a few insights into life with Phil.
No problem.
And of course, thank you to all of our listeners. Thank you to those that have listened over Christmas, as we said last week. And yes, if you want to find us on social media, you can get onto Instagram. Let's see if I can do this right. Just search for Phil Walker Guitar, Lee Troy Guitar, and Chris Anthony Guitar. And on Facebook, it's Phil Walker Guitarist, Lee Williams Guitarist, and Chris Anthony Guitar. Of course, you can search for Story of Guitar Heroes on Instagram and Facebook, or head over to www.storyofguitarheroes.com. And of course, there's a YouTube. Search for Phil Walker Guitarist, where you can see some videos that actually feature Jay.
Well,
showing off
actually,
those amazing pipes.
hang on, we've got another YouTube. If you search Jaime Lovett, spelled JaimeLovet, Jay's got her own YouTube channel where you can see quite a few different videos and some videos from her past in different bands as well. That's a really cool channel. You've just started that, haven't you? As a bit of an outlet. It's my only outlet, you see.
It is now,
Yes.
yes.
Awesome. Well, definitely go and do that, and then you'll be wondering why she's not in the show and why we are.
Oh, don't be that. No.
We're
Yeah, she's
about
a
to
good
get
guitar
cut off,
player as
so-
well, yeah.
Oh no, don't say that. She's a triple threat. I bet she can dance as well.
Yeah.
Not as well as you,
Watch
Lee.
this space.
I'll retain that one.
Thank you
Right.
all so much for listening, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
See you
everybody,
next time.
and
See
we'll
you
see you next
later.
week.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Jay, pull that finger.
No.
Go on, pull that
No,
finger.
I don't. Oh. Go on then.
You hesitated, it's gone.
Oh.